Sunday morning, da-da, da-da-da, da-da, da-da-da. Give it a minute so everybody can show up. It's a beautiful Sunday morning on the east end of Long Island. Moji Masala is here. We're just going to start in about 30 seconds. Thank you for joining. Okay, why don't we just get started, and then folks who are waking up late, they'll come and join us, or our live friends on the West Coast will, I'm sure they'll come on. Welcome, Mojis! JD and Shireen, back. Hope everybody had a great holiday. New Year's Eve, 2020, forget all about it. Now it's all about 2021. And if you're like me, Shireen, you want to start off with a cleanse. We usually do a few during the year, but definitely momentous after the new year. And it's a really great way to get your body feeling good, your mind, and some would say, your spirit. So today we're going to start making KItchari. You don't have to make KItchari for a cleanse. You can also make KItchari. It's sort of like a chicken soup. And if you're in India and you're sick, your mama will cook you some KItchari, actually. Many of you may know that, and I can let Shireen expand upon that as well. I got involved in KItchari typically where I was first introduced to it in my time in India. I was in South India and I was going to Ayurvedic doctor just to learn more about it. And she said, you need to do KItchari cleanse. I was like, what is that? She's like, you need to eat this specific food 5 days straight. I was like, what else do I eat? She's like, nothing. And she started getting into the science. Ayurvedic is centuries old science. The KItchari is probably just as old. And there are so many different kinds of cleanses out there that people can do. This one is totally natural. Obviously, if you're going to try something, always consult your doctor or your nutritionist, what have you. But you're really dealing with mung beans, rice, some vegetables, and then the spices. So I'm going to let Shireen talk a little bit about the spices in a minute. But all of the spices, and we make it super easy for anybody to cook Indian food, and that's the whole point of Moji Masala. So the spices are pre-ground in a single packet, pre-measured. You don't have to think about it. You buy it, it's $3. $3 for your health is incredible. This is a very filling, nutritious, lovely, almost like getting a warm hug kind of meal for literally $3 and some produce. So you can't imagine how much I love this. I mean, I eat KItchari, if there's 365 days a year, probably somewhere between 75 and 100. That's how much I love KItchari. We got really into KItchari about a year ago. We went out to Nourish Ayurveda, which is in Costa Mesa, California. Anybody out in California, go take a visit. Google Nourish Ayurveda. They do a really good KItchari, and they're actually doing a cleanse right now. If you want to go online and check them out, feel free. Good friends of ours.
It's an online 6-week program.
Yeah, it's an online, 6-week program. Prakash is the main chef, but John is going to be running.
Arguably the best Ayurvedic chef in America.
Yeah, Prakash is the best Ayurvedic chef in America. And John is becoming almost not too far behind him after spending so many years apprenticing and really understanding. And one thing that John will say is that you do KItchari cleanse 7 days, which means you eat nothing else. You drink no coffee, you drink no chai, you eat nothing else. You see God. I don't know about that, but talk to him. I love KItchari because of the way it makes me feel, and then also it really does work as a way to get some of the toxins out of your body. So without further ado, I'm going to go behind the camera, and Shireen's going to talk a little bit about the spices, and then we're going to get into cooking the spices.
And it's quick and easy, so.
Right, quick and easy.
Done.
Done. And then what we're going to do is Shireen's going to talk about the spices, she's going to cook the spices, and then we'll take a break, so you don't have to sit around with us for half an hour while it's cooking, and then we'll come on back. Okay? So join us on our KItchari adventure.
Okay, so real quick, what you have here is we're doing a total of 1 cup. So we do half and half. Half a cup of split dehusked organic mung bean is what we're using here. And you can see it's actually, the husk is green. So when it's split and dehusked, it's yellow. It looks like a lot of other kinds of lentils. If you're doing this as a cleanse, do not replace the mung bean with another lentil because it will probably be too harsh. So I didn't grow up eating KItchari. It was not sort of what we did in our household. I was actually introduced to KItchari by JD when he came back from India. And so the idea to me that a lentil and rice dish, which I love rice and I love lentils, but when I eat them, I feel heavy, I feel full, I feel satisfied, but they're not what I associate with cleanse. So what I realized is it's using the split dehusked mung, and then of course like a nice basmati rice, which is very fluffy. And then really you cook it till it's kind of mushy, which may not be the most appealing thing, but it's the texture, the fully cooked soft nature of it that allows it to really cleanse. And then the spice blend here, we could just hone in on it a little bit. Bay leaf, cinnamon, slight touch of black pepper. The black pepper and bay leaf add that little touch of heat, without chili. This is gentle on the stomach. Everything here is super, super easy. Turmeric, I think turmeric, the nutritional or medicinal properties of turmeric are kind of out there now. Black mustard seed, which is sort of the primary flavor base here. Black mustard seed is, very strong in flavor, and they're gonna toast up a little bit in the oil. And then fresh ground Cuban coriander, also lovely flavor. So this is what's in here, this beautiful KItchari pack, and this is the amount you would use for the equivalent of a cup of rice and lentils. And we are going to do sweet potato today. We're going to roast them because we are doing a cleanse. So this will probably last us a couple days. When I know I'm going to eat the KItchari for a couple days, I like to do the vegetables, well cooked on the side. They should also have very soft texture, but the KItchari lasts a little longer in the fridge. Without any vegetables in them, you can kind of keep it for, probably 3 days. You can make 3 days worth at a time and just scoop out a bowl and reheat it with a touch of water. If you're doing a pure, like say 3 to 7 day cleanse.
And you can use greens too.
Yeah, you can use green. You can literally take what's in your fridge, just any fresh vegetable, and cook it the way you like it. Just make sure that it's cooked down to be very, very soft. So that's what we're going to do today. And so with all of that, and so really what I want to say is, when I very begrudgingly would do the KItchari cleanses, thinking there's no way this could be a cleanse, sort of my favorite heavy foods in a way. And what I realized is I would eat it and I would get full and satisfied.
Well, you get bloated
and
a
almost
bit.
a little bloated as it's just for a little. But then within, I would say, an hour, it's just you totally feel great. And then within 2 hours or 3 hours, I was very hungry again, which is not what you think of like rice and lentils. So it's just by design. It's so digestible, and it is literally, if you do it for over time, it is slowly cleansing out your digestive tract.
Wow.
So that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, but the way it was explained.
Full, and JD's going to explain that point in a minute, but I also just want to point out that the other value of mung bean is very, very nutritious. And so part of also why you can just sustain on this for really an unlimited amount of time, it is really all the nutrition you need in one dish. So it's filling, it's nutritious, and then your life is way easy if you want to do a cleanse like this. Sorry,
yeah, I mean,
JD,
part of the idea, frankly, is if you are doing, if you're doing this kind of cleanse and you're eating nothing else, you have nothing else to think about. Think about how often a day we're considering ourselves, what are we going to cook tonight? Let's get a cookbook. We doing Moji Masala? We doing something else? And then we got to go get the ingredients and so on and so forth. Here is like a super cost-effective way to eat, and B, it frees your mind from so many other things that you might be thinking about. And the way it was explained to me, and I could be wrong, and if there's anybody who wants to comment, feel free, is that the lentils, when they're in your digestive tract, because they are soaked with water, start to absorb all the toxins in your body. And that's why when you start to eat a KItchari, you do feel a little bit bloated. But then at some point you start to release and it really thins you out. But look, plenty of people do this, again, not for a cleanse, but just because it's delicious. So anyway, Shireen's going to take us through, and here we go. Oh, by the way, I also like to use all sorts of greens. I like to do, typically, green beans or peas or something.
But I would say if you're going to do a leafy vegetable, do that on the side on top. Again, if you're eating it for a couple of days, by the second day, I feel like the leafy green spinach isn't so, so appetizing. It's
not so leafy.
Yeah.
Kale goes well.
Yeah,
we do kale.
Like a crispy kale on top a little bit. Like
so what are we doing here?
Okay, so I'm just heating the pan. We're going to use a little bit of sunflower oil. You don't want too much oil, so I'm really using the oil mostly to toast the spices a little bit. You don't want this to be a greasy dish, so I'm using 1 cup, and I'm not adding my vegetables in the pot, so I can use a smaller pot. And this is going to be about, 2 tablespoons.
You might remember you might see a theme here. We're using the sunflower oil because it can take very hot heat.
Yeah, any high heat oil will do, but this is probably the most healthy high heat oil I think we've come across.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to let that.
So we're waiting for the pan to heat up so that we don't have the spices toasting for too long. We don't want to burn the spices. And what you'll see is as soon as we put on the mustard seed, they're going to start to pop, kind of like a popcorn.
And actually, I have gas, so what I do is once I know my oil is hot, I turn my gas stove down, because what will happen is it will just burn. So I started off on medium high. I'm kind of like more on medium low now. And I'm just going to dump. Just normally you would, like, if you're doing it step by step, you might do first the mustard seed, then the cumin, coriander, then the toss in. But it's really not necessary. This is so simple and easy. And we just do, no, that's what I'm saying. So we've combined it in a bag, and since you're only putting it in for a minute or, not even a minute, it's all good. You hear that? Pop, pop, pop. Typically, it's kind of ready when the popping slows down or stops. So get it really mixed in that oil right away so nothing burns. All right, see, it's already turning color. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off heat because I don't want to burn it. That's how quickly. Taking it off heat and so I can keep stirring and blending it a little bit. And that was really it. So that was like 5 seconds because this gas stove is so hard. Now I'm just going to...
Did you wash?
I did not. So we're going to go a step back. I wanted to show you. So this is fine here. So this is great. I messed up a little because I didn't want to pre-wash my rice and lentils because I wanted to show you how important it is to wash them. So I should have done that first. So we're leaving that there for now. We're going to go here and give these sliced rice and lentils. If you've been watching the other videos, we've really highlighted how important it is to wash your rice, your lentils, until the water runs clear, which usually takes about 3 times, and it really does. It's kind of a rule of thumb, but I've never had to been able to wash it in less than 3 times. But it's a quick wash, so very easy. Just use your hands. Still a little bit murky, the water here. And in this case, I think the rice is probably a little bit more, and cold water. Okay. And while I'm talking about this, I'm really making an effort. It's more expensive, and I didn't grow up doing it. But I'm really making an effort to use organic rice, organic lentils. So much going on out there now. You just kind of maybe don't even know lentils seem like, well, what could be in them, but pesticides and just maybe it's the way certain things are farmed, they may not be the safest for us. So
full of radiation, all sorts of things.
And if you get like a 5-pound bag, it lasts such a long time. So. And there's some great Indian organic brands that I'm really loving now. This one is 24 Mantra. That's a new one that I've discovered. Okay, I think we're good. So now we're going to go back. Now, because my rice is wet.
Ooh, that smells delicious. Those spices smell amazing.
I'm just tossing that in. Yeah. So So we're just coating it a little bit. This part's really not a big deal. We're gonna do nothing. All we're doing after this, after we just get all our rice and lentils in, is we're gonna add water. So you can see that there.
Here's that bay leaf.
Yeah, the bay leaf, the piece of cinnamon bark. This is like, we use a nice like chunk of cinnamon bark. It just really adds an earthy flavor. The bay leaf adds just that little bit of heat. Cinnamon also slightly, slightly sweet and earthy, I guess. Okay, turn this up a little bit. And yeah. Now I'm gonna go and just add, so we have 1 cup of rice and lentils combined. So the kind of rule of thumb, mung also cooks very quickly and rice cooks very quickly. So a lot of lentils can take forever, chickpeas or a chana dal. So I do, for split mung, you do 3 to 1, roughly. That gets you a nice, thick kind of porridge, not even, slightly drier than a porridge like, or oatmeal like.
Okay. You can go and do
So now I pour 3 cups in. Now if you like it soupier, it's really up to you. You can add an extra cup. It'll be a little kind of mushier, but a little soupier. But I think 3 cups is a nice texture, 3 to 1 ratio. If you add a very absorbent vegetable in it, you might want to add another half a cup, or a lot of vegetables, Go ahead. If I added like all those sweet potatoes, that's two sweet potatoes here. I'd probably start with adding at least another half cup of water, 3.5 water. So all we're gonna do really is bring this to a boil, put on the lid for about a half an hour, checking it to make sure it isn't drying out too quickly. And then again, the beauty of these is like too dry, add water, too wet, run off the water a little bit. And since it's supposed to be a mushy texture anyway, you don't have to worry about like overcooking it. And that's really it. We'll be back in a half an hour and we'll show you how it turned out.
Ashley's saying that she's also trying to incorporate more organically sourced nuts, grains, and produce.
Yes. The things I didn't always think about with nuts and grains, I have to tell you, I never thought about it, but now I'm like really making the effort. And it's available.
Yeah. Okay, so it's on with a medium heat.
Well, I'm just bringing it to boil, so you can do it on high. Yeah, and then I'm going to turn it to low.
Okay, and then we'll
or medium low, depending if you have electric, maybe a little bit higher.
So we'll come back in 30 minutes?
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
And show you. Bye.
Bye.